All right, fellow visual creators, hold on to your storyboards because AI just walked into the set. From Tilly Norwood, Hollywood's first fully synthetic actor, to AI models like Sora 2 that just came out, and Kling.ai, the tools transforming filmmaking, animation, photography, and VFX are evolving faster than a render farm on overtime. So today on AIX Visuals, we're going to explore how AI is changing your craft, your workflow, and even the very definition of creativity itself. So we're talking ethics, regulation, democratization, workflow transformations, and the existential questions of what it means to be an artist in a world where visuals can be generated in mere seconds. So by the end of this episode, you'll understand the landscape, spot some opportunities, and get concrete takeaways to stay ahead of the curve in whatever part of the industry you're in or hoping to be in. So let's dive in. Alright guys, welcome to AIX Visuals, and let's start first with the story that's making huge waves in Hollywood. Tilly Norwood, covered across CBS News, AI Magazine, social chatter on Reddit, hundreds of stories. Tilly is a fully AI-generated actor. Some unions are calling her a threat to real performers. We've heard that, while creators are arguing that she's just another tool, like CGI or motion capture, but faster and cheaper. The debate isn't just about the Hollywood drama. It's also about the rights and ethics. Who owns an AI performance? Are we ethically allowed to train AI on human performances without their explicit permission? This story overlaps with a lot of commentary that's covered in Creative Block, Futurism, and Screen Daily, if you follow those publications. Basically, everyone's asking the same question: when can an AI act? And does that cheapen human artistry? Or is it amplifying it? Is it giving it something interesting? So for creators, the lesson is really going to come down to the idea of control and transparency in this story. You're going to need to know when you're using AI, how it was trained, and what legal or ethical frameworks are going to apply to it. So your career may not be at risk yet, but your client's trust and the value of your creative labor definitely is. That's why authenticity is important. So your key takeaways from this story are going to be that always check licensing and source material before using AI-assisted work. And I always say document so that you can prove where your real input was and what was AI. So when the hammer comes down, I always say when the AI hammer comes down, you don't want to be stuck with stuff that they just call AI slop and you lose everything. Number two, use AI ethically. You should do everything ethically. Consider whether your human contribution is irreplaceable. See if you're really giving them something. Obviously, legally, it might not be so, but if you want to be something going forward as an artist, you're going to want to use it ethically so that people know who you are and what you create, and worst case scenario, so that you don't get it all taken away by the courts once you finally get it big. So quick questions is, if you had a budget to cast an AI actor, would you insist on a human, and why? I find it interesting because it's something interesting to play with. It doesn't have to replace every AI or every actor, but an AI actor is an interesting thing to play with, so play with it. Our next story is going to be, again, on AI tools and the workflow transformation. So this is really the meat and potatoes of what we're seeing with AI. So AI models like Sora 2, which just dropped and is looking very convincing, along with their new TikTok-style app that comes with it. They highlighted in No Film School and Creative Block. Kling AI, also discussed in Screen Daily, are redefining now what's possible in pre-visualization, VFX, and production design. So these are finished products, but they're shorts, but they look wonderful. So they're not really just toy apps anymore. They're really generating realistic video. They're testing lighting scenarios, and they're even creating animated sequences, obviously at a fraction of the cost and time. Now, even if you go do it the full scope, you can quickly iterate 10 ideas sitting at home and go, I like this one here, and send it off to your creative guy that's going to do the VFX or whatever. This is a director's industry now, creative visionaries industry, unfortunately, as that might sound for some of the working folk in the industry. So photographers, animators, and VFX artists, your grunt work's going to get automated, so it's going to let you focus, hopefully, ideally, on the story style and the emotional impact of your stories. Now, depending on if you're in the film industry, you might be hurt by this move. But if you're an independent creative looking to build something yourself, this is something that you can take into your own hands. But you always have to be cautious with these things, because workflow changes aren't obviously automatically going to make you better. So you're going to want to weigh using it versus perception. So if you rely entirely on AI, your style is possibly going to homogenize unless you got a huge corpus of art you've already made. Your competitive advantage is going to end up being your taste and your judgment and your creative decisions. So again, AI is the brush. You're still the painter, especially if you are giving it a lot of your own physical created art to put in there, whether it be VFX stuff, 3D models, drawings, paintings, whatever it may be, rather than just prompts. So what are your key takeaways here? You want to use AI to accelerate iteration. Don't replace creative judgment. It's not that good at it, and if it is, it's already been done. It's boring. Give it your own sauce. Number 2, treat AI outputs as starting points, at least sometimes. Your eye and storytelling are still going to remain key, and you want to add stuff to it. Again, depending on what you find interesting and how you're marketing your ideas and your brand and thinking about what you want to create, all of that's open for interpretation. So I'd love to know if you guys have used AI to speed your workflow. Has it enhanced your vision? Did it constrain it? Did you spend too much time trying to mess with prompts that it ended up being just as annoying as not, doing it yourself? Where are you guys at with those tools? Are you getting good use out of it? Is it still kind of in the annoying phase? I'd love to hear which ones you guys are all about right now. So our next part is going to be on regulation, safety, and new industry standards. So it's not just changing creativity, it's doing a whole thing with lawmakers, which we all love. Law is our favorite thing as creatives. So Reuters is reporting that California now, so this is important, that's where Hollywood is and a lot of you creatives are, SB 53 now requires companies to disclose safety measures for advanced AI models. So the law is aimed at obviously mitigating risks, protecting users, and giving whistleblower protections. So from a creator's perspective, this is a signal. Regulation is coming to the visual arts world, at least in California, and some might say that regulation often comes there first. So depending on where you are in the country or in the world, this might not affect you. So again, this is going to be an important topic when it comes to AI-generated likenesses, deep fakes, synthetic actors like Tilly Norwood. So Disney recently took a stance against the unauthorized AI generation of their characters that shows that the studios are already preparing internal rules too. But they're also, I think, throwing a lot of legal cases out that they don't know how they're going to go. And none of us do. So this is kind of where we're breaking through all the ideas, which is why I say document, so they can't call you AI slop. So the takeaway for you guys is that you're going to want to play smart as always. Learn the rules before the client does or the studio demands your compliance. You're going to want to have ethical foresight, which means protecting your career, knowing regulations, knowing what you're using, and you're going to want to consider all the contracts, union guidance, and disclosure practices as part of the workflow. It might be annoying, but it's really something important to keep in the back of your mind. The 2 takeaways. 1, stay informed with us. Stay informed. AI laws and studio policies are evolving very quickly. They're dropping daily. We're sorting it all out. 2, proactively try to integrate ethical guidelines into your projects to avoid later conflicts. I just think that's a good idea from a business perspective. You want to try and lay out who you are, what you do, and where you're going before you even start. Otherwise, you're a rudderless, lost person at sea. So question to you guys is, how would you implement that ethical AI use into your production? Is that something you could care less about, or where would you draw the line? I'd be interested to see if that's something that intrigues you or you're putting into your business plan, or if it's just a nuisance you'll figure out later once you make it. Our final segment is going to be on the democratization and opportunity for creators. So let's take a look at the opportunity side, which is what we like to do here. Plenty of doomer stuff out there. So Adobe and other sources are highlighting that AI is lowering a lot of the barriers. So indie filmmakers are able to generate the high quality visuals with a lot smaller teams. Photographers are experimenting with editing. So I remember spending a lot of time in Lightroom getting it just right. Now you can do it quickly in Adobe. One caveat to that I would like to mention that I thought was an interesting point. Actually, Louis C.K., when asked about AI, mentioned that he believes that this stuff is all derivative, which is true. It comes from stuff that we already have created, which means that if all companies start to use that AI in that same way, eventually they'll all kind of middle out. There'll be less creativity. And he points out that these jobs that we're automating away, like with this guy that has to sit there and do a little Lightroom, in that process he thinks, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if we did it that way? And that's how you get innovation. But if you don't have those grunt work guys coming up with new ideas, you just have the same ideas replicating. But he says this as a positive because it means some companies are going to take that and all balance and flatten and get boring. And we can say a lot of them already are. And this might push them to the max. And then another company will just say, oh, we don't do that. We just make stuff ourselves. And they'll win. And I really think that the long run of creativity is that way. I think that that is totally correct. You just have a new competitor. You just be a different competitor like you always were. Used to be 6 billion people on Earth. Now there's 6 billion people and 6 billion AIs. You're still competing. You're still special. Go for it. So it's democratization, but it's going to come with that new challenge of standing out in a creative field that's crowded, but we've had that problem. It's a growing problem, and it's hopefully going to give us the best people we have and push you to have the best ideas. With AI, the technical ceiling is so low that the value of unique vision and narrative voice and personal style is going to skyrocket. So it's, the thing that kind of hurt music in a lot of ways that you needed to know how to produce to be able to be a musician, help or hurt or change, it just changed. Could be happening here. So there's always a business opportunity. If that's the way you want to look at creativity, if that's what you want to do is make your life making, use AI to reduce the costs. Be humane about it. Be ethical about it. Iterate faster and deliver to more clients, but keep it quality and be authentic, open. It's going to free up your time from repetitive work that's going to allow you to focus on your creative identity, storytelling, marketing, and whatever. So your takeaways are: one, that AI use should be for focusing on high-value creative decisions, okay? You want to focus on high-value creative decisions. AI does the grunt work. The story is key. 2, develop a distinct style. AI is going to be able to replicate technique, but not your personal vision. And even if it can replicate you, we'll have some laws about that. But you have to give yourself something people can recognize. People need to know who you are, and your brand and the IP is going to be a huge factor in the future, I believe, in the AI world. And 3rd, experiment fearlessly. AI reduces the cost, risk of iteration, and like I said, you have a bunch of platforms, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, that you can just iterate ideas and post and watch the analytics on them and see what people hate, what people love, and run with it. You have built-in focus groups. You must utilize them. Now, one question I'll leave you with before we wrap up is, if AI freed up workflow for you by 50%, how would you spend the extra time creatively? Would you? Now, if you're in the industry, would you go spend more time with family, or would you make more art? I'd love to know how you guys would use this saved time, or if you wouldn't save the time, if you enjoy the long process. That's interesting too. That could be your differentiator. So here's what we learned today in a nutshell. AI is obviously amplifying creativity. It's raising ethical questions. It's transforming your workflow, and it's forcing the industry and you as a creator to adapt to it. So from Tilly Norwood's debut to Sora 2, which you should play with, and Kling AI's practical magic, regulation, democratization, the key is still going to be strategic, ethical, and creative integration, integrity, and authenticity. So what are your actionable tips for the week that you can take away with you? Learn the AI tools. Let me know if you guys want a few tools that I can name for you. I can leave it in the comments. I'll put something out. But prioritize your judgment and your style. They are what make it all unique. Number 2, understand rights, ethics, and regulations. Not just because you want to be a good person, which you should be, but because if you don't do that stuff and a legal ruling comes in soon, you might lose everything you've built. We don't want that for you, but also be a good person. Number 3, use AI to accelerate your workflow. Experiment boldly, blindly, wildly. Try it out. Have fun with it. Get ideas. Enjoy. It doesn't have to be a terrible thing. It's just a little secret thing you're checking on at midnight when nobody's looking. Number 4, focus on what AI cannot replicate, because that's your unique vision and your emotional storytelling. And there is still that stuff. I don't know how long we got. Maybe we got forever. Maybe we don't have any time. Do it for now. And I really think forever, who you are is the same. There may just be more computers, but you are still a person. It's just another computer. Even if it's almost like a real person, that's just one more real person that you can either be friends with, hate, work against, compete with, whatever you choose to do. So it's not here to replace you. It's going to try in a lot of ways. It's here to, but if you look at it as a creative, it's here to challenge you, amplify you, inspire you. The creators who navigate through it thoughtfully are going to shape the future of visual storytelling. So if you want to be one of the leads in the future, you got to understand what the future holds. So that's going to be it for today's episode of AIX Visuals, guys. I'm Chris. As always, please subscribe, comment, tell me how you're adapting to the craft in the AI world. We're trying to hit only 50 subscribers, and we're going to start going live with these ones so we can take questions live, have some meaningful discussion, and really get a community going. So I would really appreciate it if you guys could give me that tap. We're continuing to explore AI and FX pipelines, how generative tools are reshaping blockbuster economics. Everything you need to know, we're going to keep you here and updated. So please keep experimenting, keep creating, keep your eye on the AI horizon, and we will see you next time here on AIX Visuals. See you guys later.